The Bible's teachings on having multiple sexual partners, including polygamy and sexual acts outside of marriage, are complex and have been interpreted in different ways throughout history. However, a consistent theme is the ideal of monogamy. The ideal of monogamy. Genesis 2:24. This foundational verse states, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." This is often cited as the divine model for marriage, a union of one man and one woman. Jesus himself reaffirmed this in Matthew 19:4-6 and Mark 10:6-8. New Testament teachings. The New Testament reinforces the concept of a single, committed partnership. For example, 1 Corinthians 7:2 says, "But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband." Paul also specifies that church leaders should be the husband of one wife. 1 Timothy 3:2, 1 Timothy 3:12, and Titus 1:6, which many interpret as a broader standard for all Christians. Polygamy in the Old Testament. While the ideal is monogamy, the Old Testament does describe a number of prominent figures who had multiple wives and concubines, including Abraham, Jacob, David, and Solomon. Deuteronomy 17:17. The law given to future kings of Israel specifically warns against a king having many wives, stating that his heart will turn away. Consequences. The Bible often portrays the negative consequences of polygamy, such as jealousy, conflict, and family strife. For instance, the stories of Abraham, Jacob, and David are filled with examples of the pain and discord that resulted from their multiple relationships. Sexual immorality, fornication, and adultery. The Bible is clear in its condemnation of sexual activity outside the bounds of marriage. Fornication. This term refers to sexual intercourse between people who are not married to each other. The New Testament consistently warns against sexual immorality. Greek porneia, a broad term that includes fornication. Verses like 1 Corinthians 6:80 instruct believers to flee from sexual immorality. Adultery. This is specifically sexual intercourse involving a married person and someone other than their spouse. It is one of the 10 Commandments. You shall not commit adultery. Exodus 20:14. And is condemned by Jesus in the New Testament. Matthew 5:27-28. In summary, while the Old Testament describes the practice of polygamy, the Bible's overall teaching, particularly in the New Testament, points to monogamy as the divinely intended and preferred model for marriage. Sexual relations outside of a monogamous marriage are consistently considered a sin.